I was standing in the kitchen and I saw movement out of the corner of my eye outside, and there was a raccoon in our driveway, and it was moving really slowly. And then I was like, Gary, raccoon, raccoon. So we went outside, and it was going underneath my neighbor's car. And I was like, oh, well, it's probably on the other side. But it was just laying under the car like this, like how dogs do.
Yeah.
And then it would move like 5 feet and then lay down again. And it did that like all the way up my driveway, through the patio, and then like out the other side of the property. And I was like, something's wrong with it. Like, why would it be stopping every 5 seconds? So I put water in like a Gladware container, and I waited till it was like in a space where I could get all the way around it and like come at it from the front. And I put water down in front of like exactly where it was headed. And then it went around the water and didn't even stop.
That's a very good example of you see a problem and you don't need to give a solution.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's dying, sadly, or it's dying, but I just wanted to fucking help my pal out.
Are you ready to dance to our theme music?
I'm ready to dance.
I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody.
What the hell?
Welcome to Make Me, the podcast where Julia and I force each other to do things that we couldn't be bothered to do ourselves. My name is Jordan Steadman.
And I'm Julia Weeks.
Welcome back to episode 9, everybody.
Episode 9, feeling fine.
How you doing, Julia?
Is that something people say?
It is now.
Oh, cool. I'm doing good. I was wondering if you, figured out the tricks with squid over the last week, or B, tried the cocktail from last episode.
Both no. So
great. I'm glad I asked.
I haven't been to Trader Joe yet to go get the lemonade or the jalapeno lemonade. I have everything else, but I don't have the jalapeno lemonade.
Yeah.
And then I decided to take a step back with Squid's tricks and start from the beginning again. If y'all check out our Instagram on our story highlights, you'll see our story highlights from episode 8. I think he's hot and slow right now, so we're taking a little slow and we're going back to the basics.
Cool. I have a question.
Yeah.
How come you call it Trader Joe instead of Trader Joe's?
I have a thing about putting an S at the end of things for some reason. I don't know.
But that's the name.
I know it is. It stems from people calling Aldi Aldi's.
Oh.
And I'm like, it's Aldi, and like everyone like would then make fun of me for correcting everybody. So then I like internalized it, and now I don't put an S at the end of anything.
Even if there's an S.
Especially if there's an S.
So what about like possessives? Like that's Jordan's shirt.
Well, I mean like it was called a proper noun.
Yeah.
But yes, I know. And it is the funny thing about the two examples is that they're both owned by the same people, like Trader Joe's and Aldi are the same.
Every time you say Trader Joe, I think of an actual person, whereas the word Trader Joe's makes me think of the grocery store.
See, I specifically go to see Trader Joe.
Yeah.
But like you're going to his store.
And Trader in my mind is spelled Traitor.
Yeah.
Like he's a Benedict Arnold.
Wait, that's not what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got your lemonade from Trader Joe's. I know a guy named Trader Joe.
And he commits treason.
Yeah, he's betrayed everyone in his family, but he makes some dope-ass jalapeno lemonade.
Oh, damn. You got that black market lemonade.
So let's get into our Make-Me's. Julia, it is your week to go first.
Ooh, I'm so excited for this. Okay. My Make Me this week was to invent and pitch to you a product or a service, Shark Tank style.
Yes, I'm very excited about this.
So I hope you're ready to put on your shark pants and to be, Richard Branson type.
Yeah, I'm actually not wearing any pants. So.
Oh. I feel like Mark Cuban's a no pants guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say so. I mean, are any of them wearing pants?
I feel like
who wears the pants in the tank?
It's definitely Barbara Corcoran.
Yes. Okay. You're
so I take it you have experience watching the show.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with the show. It's definitely one of those shows that like I'm not like an all the time watcher, but like it really punches serotonin into my receivers when I watch it. I don't really have any like necessarily good like lovely memories around it, but it's just like a very entertaining show. And my favorite parts are like the flops, you know what I mean? So it's like they're kind of like cringy to watch in a way.
Yes, for sure.
And then I kind of got this idea to do the Shark Tank thing from the Jenna Julian podcast, because every once in a while they'll do a thing where Julian will just like pitch really like ridiculous things to Jenna. And I just like think it's so entertaining. I just like want to participate.
Oh, well, here we go. For those who don't know, is a reality TV show. I would say it like top tier reality TV show, because it's not following like a random made up narrative of like just random people living their lives. The whole premise of the show is that people with like small businesses or products are going into a studio and pitching their product to 5 investors who are called the Sharks. These people are people you may know. They are very rich. Their names we don't need to talk about. I'm sure you know them, but the highlights are Barbara Corcoran and Mark Cuban, I would say.
Yeah, Barbara's like the show in my opinion.
Yes. She's like a bad bitch, and she's also really nice people, and I feel like other people are mean. She's like stern, but she'll be nice.
Yeah.
Whereas other people will be like, this product sucks.
Like, this is fucking idiot.
You idiot, I'm out. And they're like,
Barbara,
what?
And then Barbara will be like, here are like a few things that you should learn before you go into like an industry.
Yes.
And then come back to us. Maybe.
Right. And she's like trying to teach at the same time. She's not just like, you're dumb, I'm not investing.
Yeah.
She's like, I would have invested if you did XYZ. Come back when you do XYZ.
Exactly. Or like, this just isn't like, you probably care about this, but this just isn't a product that like anyone's going to care about.
Right. Which I feel like happens all the time.
People still invest in those things too, but I think it's just so they my theory is that like that people are pitching a product that like is too close to what some of the sharks are doing, so they want to get like 51% of the product so they can just like get rid of it.
So they can be bought out.
Yeah.
I feel like so in my research, whatever, I learned that like 20% of the deals on the show are never executed at all.
Oh,
because the whole show is someone pitching to the Sharks. The Sharks are asking a lot of questions. And then at the end, 0 to 5 Sharks will invest in the company. But it's just like a handshake investment, which I guess means nothing. It's like a gentleman's agreement.
I see. That's what's I don't know what I need a lawyer friend, because I always thought that there was something to like verbal agreements, especially if they're like on camera.
Right. And like I feel like when people are like getting signed by colleges for sports, like there's like 2 different stages, and one's a verbal agreement and then one's like the actual signing.
Yeah.
And so like, can you be sued for backing out of a verbal agreement?
I mean, I'm wondering if they had signed something prior going on the show saying like, this is all like, this is for TV. And then, and like the agreement is like up to like, it's actually up to like other people. Cause I'm sure also like, while these people have a lot of money and a lot of say in like their company or whatever, I'm sure like they're not allowed to make an investing decision.
Right.
Like their whole like company. Cause I'm sure that they all like are like belong to like entities rather than like, I'm just a person with a shit ton of money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of their like guest hosts are just like personally wealthy and they're not tied to anything. The reason why I think that they aren't executed sometimes is because Mark Cuban like loves to spill the beans on people and like trash people offline. And he says that a lot of times, so that means take this with a grain of salt because he's just a troll. But he says that people will lie about their financials. And so you're not making an agreement. You're just like saying like, yes, I'm interested in doing this. And if everything you said is true, I'll sign on to this. But apparently a lot of people lie.
Just to like get on like the people pitching.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
So they'll be like, we've sold, 500,000 units, and really they've sold like 50,000.
Yeah. I like on the show when like people will say that stuff, and then one of the sharks will be like, okay, where are the numbers? Or like they'll
Right.
ask some more like businessy question they don't know how to answer. Like they catch people on lies all the time about it.
Yes.
And they're like, oh yeah, we produce this stuff. I'm like, well, what are your means of production? And they're like, what does that mean? And you're like, you clearly haven't
Right.
made any of these.
It's so weird, like all the different levels of people that can go on there, because some people go on and they're already like a pretty successful product.
Yeah.
Like they have so many million units sold and they're just looking to expand, and they can't do that without more money.
And maybe sometimes the show is just like a commercial for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was reading about how I think in some previous seasons they've called people out on this, but they're trying to like cut back on it, is that people sign up to be on the show with no intention of getting a shark to sign on. Like they're gonna, if any offer is given to them, they're gonna back out because they get what's called the Shark Tank bump just by being on TV.
Yeah.
So people are like, I don't actually want Mark Cuban to be part of my company, but I do want the business that I get from people watching the show.
Right. I mean, I've watched Shark Tank and I've looked up products.
I feel like oftentimes you're watching the show and you're like, why would anyone buy this product? And then they'll invest in it.
That's what I'm trying to say is like, that's when I think that it's like the sharks watching their own ass, and like,
yeah,
they know something that we don't, and like that product is too closely related or offers the same service as something that they want. Other times, like, you kind of laugh at the people who are like trying to offer. I remember one time a long time ago, also the show is so old, but I remember a long time ago someone was like offering like a product where you like, it was like this trench coat that had like a little like bag in it that like someone could pee in, like if they're like on the street, and everyone's like, no, like out, like I'm out, like I don't even want to be a part of that.
This
like,
is so close to exposing yourself in public. We are not signing on.
Right, exactly. And it's so funny when like you don't even get to the part where they talk about money. They're like, you can tell that it's going bad when they start asking about like the product itself and the service, and they're like, this service doesn't make sense and you're not filling a need. And you like, obviously because of capitalism, most products they've made up the need, and then they fulfill the need. But sometimes they're like, this, we can't even figure out who, like, how to create this need for somebody.
Right. You know what I want? I want as a dress akin to the bridesmaid scene. That's just like a huge hoop skirt. So anywhere I go, I can just squat down and take a shit on the street, and then I just like pick up my hoop skirt and go.
Yeah. I want a product where it's like a little bladder of water in like a pair of like underwear, so that when women are pregnant and they're trying to get out of very uncomfortable situations, they can just release the bladder and be like, my bladder broke. And then you can have
bladder broke.
I mean, my water.
I need to go to the emergency room right now.
No, I meant, and then there's the pairing product where it's actually a whole fake belly that you get.
Ooh, like Barbie.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I would invest.
The product is called Oops, My Bladder Broke.
Again. Okay, so some details about the show, just like because some details about the show. There have been 11 seasons, and there's been like 250 episodes.
Wow.
That feels like a lot small. and not a lot. And
do they just do one season a year?
Yeah, they must. About. But I learned, so the whole show is set up in like 10-minute chunks. So you'll watch a 10-minute pitch, and then the sharks will like discuss, and then they'll give their deals. But actually, when they're producing it, every person that comes on the show gets 1 hour to pitch. So that includes like their whole pitch and the discussion afterward, but it gets cut down to 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it's like a really long, I feel like that's really long.
Yeah.
But I guess that makes sense, because like they're gonna cut down to what's interesting and whatever.
Also, like, people's attention spans are just so small.
Yes. And at the beginning of every episode, so like the people walk out, they're like on the stage in front of the sharks, and then there's like a weird long pause where there's all these like cut takes of like the sharks staring and the people selling staring, and everyone just like staring at each other. And literally in production, they make everyone stare at each other for a full minute so that they can get all the different angles of this like stare down.
Oh God, that'd make me so nervous.
I feel like that's way more nervous than like I'd rather just walk out and start talking. Some other cool things about Shark Tank. I don't know if this is actually cool, but Mark Cuban, again, the troll that's like the only person that does publicity for fucking Shark Tank, says that they have a psychologist on set that has to debrief with every person that pitched because they don't want them to have a quote mental breakdown afterward. Like they want to make sure that the sharks weren't like scarring to these people.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the best thing I've ever heard about a reality television show, because I feel like a lot of reality TV like thrives on people like having really bad mental health.
Yes.
So like and it also just like it goes to, like it's just proof that these people are like being assholes almost on purpose. They're like,
oh, for sure.
We need to do this for television.
Right. It's more interesting if I'm a dick to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And a few more things. Okay, so a cool fun thing about Shark Tank is that sometimes they have guest hosts, like guest sharks. Mm-hmm. Some of note are Maria Sharapova, the tennis star, who knew that she was even famous enough or like rich enough to do this. Wow. We also have Alex Rodriguez, Charles Barkley. Well, I'm just these are like those are the athletes I found. Then we have Bethany Frankel.
Obsessed.
She got her fame from The Apprentice. Her like TV
Real Housewives of
fame.
New York.
No, but she was on The Apprentice and then came back.
She was on Real Housewives of New York, then The Apprentice,
and then back.
Celebrity Apprentice, and then back to Real Housewives. Yes. And then she started Skinny Girl Margarita, Skinny Girl brand.
Yes.
And then now she's an entrepreneur.
Yes. And I feel like Skinny Girl's everywhere, so good for her.
Yeah.
Also, the person that started Stitch Fix, Katrina Lake. We also have the person that started Dry Bar, which is Allie Webb. I'm just naming these people because I was like happy that they had women on the show that were self-made millionaires.
Yeah.
Then Jeff Foxworthy has been a guest host.
What? That's gotta be, that's just like, that's all just appeal to like blue collar, right?
He was like their first, well, he was in the top like, no, he was their first guest host after like the ones that they acquired as full-on sharks.
I want him to be like, if you haven't reached this many people with your product, you might be a failure.
I feel like he's such a fucking joke of a person. Like, I didn't even think that he had money despite his TV fame.
I bet his wife's rich and that everyone thinks that he's making all the money.
Yes. And Ashton Kutcher was a shark. Last, something I learned from the man that lives with me, this guy Nick Woodman, who started GoPro, and Gary told me that this guy's like, his company's not doing well, even though like GoPros are everywhere and they're like sponsoring people all the time.
Yeah.
GoPro's not doing that well because he made such a good product that no one's upgrading to the new models, because you can use like a 10-year-old GoPro and it's just as good as the new ones.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Also, like, that is wild. Like, good for him, but also that's like he needs to like expand.
And last but not least, some notable companies that like really got their like fame from Shark Tank. Some that you might know, Groovebook, which got acquired by Shutterfly. It's like a photo sharing thing. Coffee Meets Bagel.
Wow, really?
Yes. Doorbot, which was became known as Ring, but it's the same exact company. And Manscaped, which is like a service.
Yeah, the Manscaped, isn't that that's like the big like men's grooming product that's like on every podcast right now.
Yes, and they're like, it's like what's it called? A subscription service of like products. And the best selling product from Shark Tank history is, what do you think it is?
I'm gonna say, oh shoot, I've been put on the spot. I'm gonna say it's a piece of clothing.
False.
Okay.
It's Scrub Daddy.
What the hell is that? wait, hold on. This is the biggest selling product.
Yes, they're $75 million company. Something about like that.
Okay. Scrub Daddy. That is a service where a sexy daddy delivers you your scrubs. You're a nurse.
What kind of scrubs? Oh, scrubs like that?
Yeah.
Would you like to take another guess?
Yes, the other guess is scrubbing bubbles, but for like older men.
Close. It's actually a sponge that is in the shape of a smiley face.
Oh, really?
But it's like a really good sponge.
I think I've seen those. Does it have like it's like spikes around it too?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I've seen those.
I was also confused about how this is the best-selling Shark Tank product.
That's one of those things that's like everyone has one, but you don't think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the option for this thing, so no one knows it by name. It's just like, oh, that's the thing that everyone has.
And like it serves a need that everyone has, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And apparently, and what's her face? Lori Greiner. She bought in for like 20% of the company for $200,000, and now they have like more than 10 million units sold.
Wow.
I feel like half of the deal is like having a good name. Like people are going to buy something called Scrub Daddy because it's funny.
Yeah, for sure. And branding and like just like being good at talking, you know. I'm sure there's a ton of people who have come in with like a really great product and they're like, we're just like not ready for this product because it's just not fully developed yet.
Yeah. I also feel like there's people that go in just to, like, because they want their company to be bought out by a larger company so that they can just like cash in and then leave.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I have on background on Shark Tank. Anything else you'd like to add as an avid lover of the show?
No, I just hope that one day I can think of something interesting enough to just go on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could. We can take my product to the road.
I am so excited to find out what you did, what you made me.
So I'm going to ask you to assume the role of a shark.
Okay.
Embody your best Richard Branson. I know I say his name a lot. He was only a guest, but I just think he's such a funny person, like as a concept, not him. Okay. I don't think he's very interesting.
Let me get in the mindset of a millionaire. Okay.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you think his net worth is? Let's look it up.
I'm going to say 30 million.
Wow. It's $100 million.
Holy crap. I thought I was too high with 30 million.
That's nuts. All right.
What is he selling? How?
He's selling his DVDs? Mustache.
What is he selling?
What is he selling? DVDs? Yeah, there's huge money in DVDs these days. No one even has a fucking DVD player.
Oh, shit.
All right. I'm going to embody my best nervous person on Shark Tank. All right, so sharks or shark. What's your name, by the way?
Darnton Ashtree.
Darnton Ashtree. All right, I come to you today, Mr. Ashtree, or should I call you Shark? My name is Julia Weeks. I'm a small business owner, as you know. And I just have one question for you. How many times have you wanted to eat a burrito, but your dumb, fumbling hands can't roll it up well enough?
More than I can count, honestly.
I mean, you're famous for having dumb, fumbling hands. So I thought
that's how I got my money. What's my dumb, fumbling hand DVDs?
Darnton and his dumb, fumbling hands. Yes, I know it. I know this is a common problem in American households. You know, we're not, while we have a lot of people of color and immigrants in our nation, we are very bad at bringing those different cultures into our household and like truly finding a place for them. And it's mostly because of our dumb, fumbling hands and our inability to follow directions.
Yeah.
And I sympathize with that because I also have dumb, fumbling hands, but I also love burritos. So I come to you today with my company, Easy Toe.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Don't laugh. This is professional.
Something happened off screen. You don't even know.
It's spelled EAZITO. And, you know, this is a special edition of Shark Tank, so we're virtual. So I'm going to show you, I don't have access to my warehouse full of the full size product. So I'm going to show you my prototype.
Okay.
And I'll try to show you the best I can how it's used. And then if you choose to invest, before we actually sign any paper, between the gentleman's handshake and the actual signing, I will come to you and I will make you a burrito with this product.
Okay.
So here we have the EZito T model.
Oh God.
So no. So instead, this is just tortilla. As you can see, obviously, it's not to scale. They're a little bigger. I would say it's about a 12-inch tortilla. Actually, I know that for a fact. It's typically 12-inch tortilla. And instead of having to like plop all your ingredients in the middle, hope it's big, hope it's, you know, the right amount to fill you up, but not too big that it's going to bust open your tortilla. All you do is you fill this little space right here with your ingredients. And then you fold one side, you fold the other side, and then you roll it up nicely into a packet.
Okay.
Because you don't have a whole circle, you don't have all this extra product to like slip out of the folds or whatever. It's quick and easy. 3 folds, you're done. You roll it up and it rolls all the way around and makes a seal.
Okay.
So far, we sell them in packs of 8. And the product sells, we can make them for about $1.50 a unit, meaning a packet, $1.50. But we sell them for $8 because this is a novelty product. This is a new product. People are finding that they have dumb fumbling hands and they need this product. So we've been successful selling it for $8 a unit.
Okay.
Also, recently, since we've been in quarantine, we've had a lot of time to develop new products, and we've put a new product on the line, and that's the EZito X model.
Oh, okay.
This one is totally foolproof. While some people love the luxury of being able to really fill this one up, and like you have the T model, you have the option to like leave it open at the front if you want like a pita pocket, but you can roll it up like a burrito. Yeah. This model, truly, you cannot mess up. Again, this is not the appropriate size, but you fill this area right here in the middle with your product, and then you just fold this baby up, and it's a little packet.
Look at that.
But it's still a burrito because you still get the same shape. You can fill it up with all your ingredients. It's a thick material. It's 100% corn flour. Actually, yeah, it's 100% corn flour. And so it's really sturdy. So if you put salsas in there, if you put other liquids in there, it's not going to spill out. And these, because it's a new product, we're selling these for $8.50 a unit.
Okay. Also, because it's an upgrade and it's X model.
Right. It's the X model.
It's like Germ X.
Yes. But they come from the same base product, so we don't have to diversify our sourcing. It's all the same. And, you know, I feel like every household in America wants to be an EZito household. So I come to you today asking for your investment. I'll give you 12% for $50,000 investment.
I'll say this. I love the product. I have a few questions though.
Sure.
What are we doing? Are we making them into circles and then cutting them? And if we're cutting them, what are we doing with the excess?
Great idea. I mean, great question.
That's something you've definitely thought of, right?
Yes, I definitely thought of this. So as of right now, we have the circles because they're quick to press. They're so cheap to make that we are just cutting out the T shape and the X shape from the circle tortilla. Okay. The reason I'm asking you to invest and why we're looking for investors is because we need new machinery to just make these X's and T's immediately.
Okay. I do have some ideas for the excess. work with me here. I'm thinking we dry them and make chips and sell them under the Easito brand. Okay, but with that being said, I have another question. Sure. Are you sold on the name? I'm willing to give you $51,000.
Ooh.
You tell me what you were going to say first.
Well, I would like to say that my son, who's terminally ill with brain cancer, came up with the name Easito.
Okay.
And he said it to me in one of his fever dream states. Okay. All he said was Easito. And I said, you know what? I can make a product named after that. And I didn't even have the name. I didn't even have any idea what I was going to do. This kid is a genius, and we're going to make millions, and I'm going to pay for all of his cancer treatments with this money.
I love your son, but I'm inclined to call it the diaperito.
The diaperito?
It looks like a diaper. I will give you $51,000, but I want 51% of the company. 51.
51% of the company.
You didn't even have any ideas about what to do with the excess. I gave you that idea for free.
I didn't say that I didn't have ideas. I just said that we had excess.
You said that's a good idea.
Well, I just misspoke. I'm very nervous on stage here. We stared each other down for a whole minute. I'm shaking in my boots. I've been here for an hour. I'm hungry.
All right. Save it for the psychologist.
I can't in good health say that I would sign on to changing our name to Diaperito. People already know the Easito brand. They're calling me, they're texting me, they're faxing me, they're saying, we love Easito. We bought it because the name is so fun and flirty, and we wanted that to be associated with us and our family.
How many units have you sold?
We've sold 12 units.
And they've all texted and faxed you, all 12?
Every single one of them texted me, called me, faxed me, left a Yelp review, emailed me personally, and one even showed up to my door. It was my own mother, and she said, I love Easito. And I said, Ma, get away from here. It's coronavirus. You're going to get sick.
How many Easitos are in a unit?
We sell them in 8. Packs of 8.
And where are you currently making the product?
In my basement.
I'm in.
Really? Wait, we didn't even make a deal.
Well, yeah, I'm in.
I can't give you 51% of the company, but I will give you 49% of the company.
That's fine.
For $51,000.
For $51,000, 49%. Between you and me, DVDs aren't selling these days, so I need some cash flow. Because
you're the DVD empress. I know, yeah. I've heard. All right, well, I feel safe making this deal. We'll see what happens between our handshake and when we get backstage. Once I talk to the psychologist and see if I was of clear mind, I have to call my son. Hopefully he's not in a coma, and then we'll have a deal.
All right.
Well, thank you for your time today, Sharks.
I want you to say my full name again.
Mr. Dunkirk Albertson.
Yep. Dunkirk Albertson. That's me, the DVD guy.
The DVD guy. And scene.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, that was great. What's our ranking system this week?
I'm glad you invested. I was gonna be really upset if you didn't. Our ranking obviously is Easito's.
Easito's. Easito's T model or Easito's X?
We'll go Easito's X model.
Okay.
Because it's saucy. I'm going to say...
Now with 49% less tortilla.
All right.
Oh, shit.
So I'm going to rate this. It's tough. Out of 10 Easitos.
Yeah.
Easitos are pretty great too. So it's a weighted scale.
It is.
I'm going to say 8 Easitos.
A whole pack of Easitos.
A whole pack. But we're not getting those 2 extra ones. No bonuses here.
Okay.
It was very fun looking up Shark Tank stuff. I hate Mark Cuban, and it was great to learn more about him and why I hate him. It was very difficult coming up with an idea to sell to you. I'm not
keep
like
making you do stuff, like make up things.
I mean, I enjoy doing it. Just like it's hard to be creative sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was ultimately very fun, and I got to talk to Dunkirk Albertson, and honestly, that's the highlight of my quarantine so far. And so I'm going with it. Let's go 8.5. I don't know which half. Probably the left half of the X model.
All right. Are you ready to take a break, Julia?
Yeah, I'm ready to take a break.
All right, let's do it.
Got to get me an Easito. I'm going to fill with chicken salad.
Hey, Julia.
Hey.
Can I tell you about 2 podcasts I'm kind of loving right now?
I would love for you to do that.
Okay, cool. So with Corona, I run out of all like my typical podcasts. So I've been branching out, listening to different podcasts. Mm-hmm. The one is called the Black History Buff podcast.
Oh, I've heard of this, I think.
It's so good. He goes into all things, Black history, whether it be U.S. history or all around the world, just like Black history. I really love the episodes when he goes into like African folklore, but then we'll also like the next week do things about like more contemporary things like the Little Rock Nine. I really recommend the Little Rock 9 episode. That was the first one that I had listened to. And then the next podcast is the Fig Widow podcast, which is actually produced by an Allegheny grad, Danny Janae.
Represent.
Yeah, every week she goes into what she's reading, poetry that she likes, and then we'll just like take a dive into like whatever topic that she has lined up. And she has like some local Pittsburgh guests, and they just kind of chat.
Dang, sounds like another big brain podcast.
It is a big brain podcast,
but super fun.
It'll be a good thing for everyone to listen to when they're like not listening to like our silly vapid one.
Yeah, highly recommend pairing our podcast with one of these 2 super smart podcasts so all of your brain cells don't completely diminish.
Yeah. All right, back to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great break.
Hi, I spilled a passion fruit Belvier on myself.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was fun.
And sticky. Speaking of sticky, let's get into your Make Me for this week.
Yeah, let's get started. That was a great segue. Those are very relatable things. So just to remind everybody, my Make Me was Julia wanted me to, I think your words were do ASMR.
Is that wrong?
I don't know. I kind of just like did it. I did ASMR. Cool. But before I dive into like what I found, what's your understanding of ASMR?
So I can explain my whole relationship to ASMR in 2 words. I hate it. That's 3 words. Hate it.
Why do you hate it?
I heard someone else explain it this way, and I think this is why I hate it. It's just that I hate that I like it. Like something about it seems very like sexual or creepy or like, I don't know, something about all the sounds. I don't like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. It's definitely not for everybody.
And also I don't like that it's like 13-year-old girls on YouTube doing it, because that's when I'm like, is this sexual and is this illegal?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. So in this episode of the podcast, I'm going to be very vulnerable because I have listened and participated and watched ASMR since I was like 18 years old.
Cool.
I don't know how old I am, so you have to do the math for that. But so from the very beginning, the bare bones of what ASMR is an acronym that stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Whoa. So the ASMR is the psychological or neurological like response that your body has. It can be best described as like a tingling sensation that you have, like similar to like have you ever used one of those like head scratcher things?
Yeah.
That like massage your head and it kind of feels real tingly on your head? Yeah. That's kind of like the highest form of that, and it'll typically start on like the top of your scalp and then like travel down like your back.
So I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just responding like to the actual sounds in my ear, and it's like
So
freaking
I
me
actually
out.
go into why you might feel that way
Okay,
about it.
cool.
So one way that I read that it was described as was low grade euphoria, which I can
Okay.
understand like that, like feeling being like that, and it can kind of be sometimes overwhelming because like
Yeah.
it's often like a full like body kind of like tingling feeling.
Right. And it's like unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. And it's typically triggered by like a specific auditory or visual stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go into some of those like stimuli in a second. But what most people understand of like ASMR are like the videos, you know, like the
Yeah.
YouTube videos. There are like like I think the number is like somewhere in the upper millions of 13 million videos like
Damn.
at its like at the average, with like millions and millions and millions of views on like
Whoa.
these videos. And I found ASMR. There was like a audio clip that was kind of not circulating but kind of popular when I was around 17 years old, and it was this sound you put on these big headphones, and it would do this little like sketch where like this barber was like cutting your hair. I don't know if you ever heard that.
I haven't heard of it.
So what would happen is like this you close your eyes and you hear this person come up to you, and he's like talking to you, and he's like walking all around you, and
Oh.
it sounds like he's in the room with you. It was like
Whoa.
these high like quality microphones, and like he was like clipping like using scissors around like the microphones, and it sounded like it was real.
Whoa.
And like even to this thing where he like put a plastic bag on your head, just like you could hear it all. And I remember having that feeling, and then kind of like feeling really strange about it. It's like, and it's a feeling that's like I remember from like childhood, and I can't necessarily remember
Yeah.
it, but I remember having it, and it does kind of have like a this feels wrong kind of feeling,
Right.
but it also feels good kind of feeling.
Right. Which I think we're like programmed to think is bad. Like
Ex-
if it's something it's like something new that feels good, somehow we're told that's a bad thing.
yeah, exactly. And not to like skip ahead, but like what your association with like sex or like sexualness, I think it just what I read was a very small clip, because there's no like outward like connection to ASMR and sex. I think
Really?
that there is the possibility that you can mix the two. And I think that like the same with the furries thing, like it's not that like ASMR is baseline sexual, but like
Right.
I think that there's an opportunity to make anything sexual.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like you do have these younger people participating in it, but not for that reason. And like
Right.
if you've ever like searched through ASMR stuff, like sometimes you'll find like some cringy people like doing sexy stuff on YouTube, but like personally I'm like that's really strange and really cringy, and like
Mm-hmm.
I stay away from it. And I'm assuming that a lot of people like in the like the quote unquote ASMR community might stay away from it too. Once I found out like what ASMR was, and I was able to like find videos like that, because when I found that video and I liked it, I was trying to find like other videos like it, and it was like
Yeah.
really like it was like I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, so I was typing things like fake haircut video or like sounds
Right.
of haircut video, because I was just trying to find something like it, which then I found like they weren't explicitly called like ASMR yet, and they were just called like role play videos.
Yeah.
And it like they featured like things of like personal attention and like a lot of like cosmetic things, so like fake haircuts or fake like
Right.
makeup makeovers and stuff like that. And then eventually like ASMR like came into play. One
What?
source said that it's an ASMR is a non-clinical term that was coined in 2010, and it was kind of a term that was created by the community rather than like doctors. But once I did find those videos, I was realizing that this feeling that I had was feelings I had felt watching certain movies.
Hmm.
And one movie specifically was Toy Story 2, the part where you know how like Woody gets like the ripped arm, so that
Yes.
like that guy comes and fixes him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that movie and like feel kind of tingly or like
Yeah,
get
and it's like very
like goosebumps?
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like very close up and like very subtle sounds, and like just like the monotonous sounds of just like a person doing something,
And
and
it's
like
like
the
totally immersive.
exactly, yes. And like very like concentrated.
Yeah.
So there are tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube of like like ASMR videos, and like they range from like role plays where someone like plays like a beautician or like a barber or somebody like even like a check-in like a person at the front desk of a hotel and they're pretending to check you in, like very like personal attention. So before I go into like the longer examples of the videos, here are a list of like some triggers that are used to trigger ASMR for people.
Okay.
So like hand movement, like slow hand movement or quick hand movement, like in front of a camera, chewing or crunching, personal attention, which makes sense. So like someone looking at you in the camera and like pretend like giving you attention. Like nature sounds, so like water or wind or leaves or like the crunching of like things below your feet, tapping and scratching, typing, writing or drawing, and brushing sounds. And that's just like a very small list of things.
Yeah. I feel like everyone has felt that like they really like a sound and you don't know why.
Yeah.
Is like a fire similar to this, like listening to fire sound?
Yes, there's like you know how like if you would pull up like the sound of like a fireplace crackling.
Yeah, like a Yule log.
Yes, exactly. So with all of that in mind, I'm sure you can imagine some of like the videos that like come up with like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of like personal attention videos where like someone is like a doctor, like there's like medical role play ones where like somebody's a doctor and they're like pretending to like, you know, do some kind of like examination on you. And a lot of these videos will like start off by like asking you questions and being like, what's your name? And like they'll type or write on a piece of paper, which for me personally, like typing and like the sound of writing on a piece of paper bring me like the ASMR like feeling. And the tingly feeling isn't as like strong as it used to be. Like I feel like I've like overdone it.
You're chasing the dragon.
Like, exactly. And you have to take like what's it called when you stop smoking weed for a little bit?
Oh, like what do people call that?
A tolerance break.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah.
And then there's some like more interpersonal ones where like someone pretends to be your friend and like they'll like try like pretend to like braid your hair or like do your horoscope and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Think of anything and like there's an ASMR video of it.
The best one I ever saw was a girl who I'm sure is famous, I just don't know her name, she was a flight attendant and she was like being nice and funny at the same time.
Life with Mac.
Yes.
The redhead teen. Yeah.
Yes, it's her. Love her.
She's funny. Yeah. But the earliest like earlier examples of it was an Austrian writer, Clemens J. Setz. Apparently there's like a part in a novel by Virginia Woolf. It was called Mrs. Dalloway, and she described a tingling sensation as if like someone was brushing against her skin that was caused by like the raspy voice of someone else. Oh. So like this idea and like the sensation has like been around for a while, but no one has really put a word to it.
Yeah.
You know? And there's also been like apparently like tons of like academic like peer reviewed writings about ASMR. Yeah. But I couldn't necessarily find anything about like the science behind it. You know what I mean? Like no one's like I don't think anyone has like put anyone in like a brain scan machine, whatever those are called, and like have like tried to figure out like what's going on in the brain. You know what I mean?
Or like why that would even be a function we have.
Right. So like the ASMR community has been more of like a community rather than like a scientifically led like movement.
Cool.
You know? So relating to the weird, uncomfortable, maybe like mouth soundy feeling that you don't like. So there are some like related sensations to ASMR and some are like actively like integrated into like that into the feeling of ASMR. The first one is synesthesia.
Is it where you can like see color and sound?
Yeah, so it's the feeling of one sense prompted by a stimulus that would prompt another sense. So the example of it is when you see colors when you hear something. So apparently there's other things where like if you see something you get like physical sensations. So I could imagine like if something, you know, you hear something, you can kind of almost feel it on your skin, you know, which is kind of similar to another one that I'll bring up. But the one that you might be experiencing is misophonia.
Oh, I totally have this.
which is typically like people just like relate to like mouth and chewing sounds, which I personally like hate. Like if I hear somebody in a distance or even like close or in a distance chewing or like eating, I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yes, I feel like I've texted you and I've been like, there's a person in my class 30 feet away from me and I can hear every fucking sound they're making, eating goddamn salad, which is a soft food.
Yes, agreed. But I will admit, with that being said, that I have also listened to like watch certain ASMR videos where people are chewing gum, and for some reason that's fine to me. I don't understand.
Weird. I feel like sometimes, you know, if you like listen to a recorded voice, sometimes you can hear the saliva in their mouth. Mm-hmm. That gets me the most of everything.
Yeah. See, I feel like for me personally, I think there's something like with intention. Like if my intention is to like listen, I think watch this video, I think for some reason that's better to me. Yeah. Or maybe I'm just an asshole and I don't like strangers like in my space.
You're like, why is a stranger making my brain feel good?
Exactly. So, but misophonia actually just translates to the hatred of sound. So like being triggered and like not liking certain sounds, but they're mostly related to like bodily sounds.
I feel like when my anxiety level is already high, then I'm really, really, really like I can pick up tiny sounds and they'll piss me the fuck off.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
And like it's easy to like, you know, fixate on it then, especially like if I'm in a bad mood, I'll like accidentally hear something and I can't stop hearing it. And then I get really pissed off. And it's like, I know that this is a me problem. This is my thing about like people chewing. I know that it's a me problem.
Yes.
But 100%. For some reason, if I get locked in on the sound of it, I get so mad. I'm not going to name names, but somebody I know, somehow I just feel like they open up their mouth without like opening their mouth. Like when they chew, like their mouth and like with their closed lips gets so big that I can hear everything. It's like echoing. And I can every single time, like we're cooking together and it's like, I can't handle this. And it's like, I can hear your teeth hitting each other. I can hear like everything going on. So if I eat with them, I have to turn like music on because I need something else to listen to.
I definitely know people like that in my life. It's horrifying. Some people maybe just weren't raised right as well.
Also, my little brother, shout out to him. Woo. I don't know if he's listening, but he, growing up, would slurp cereal off of his spoon. I'm like, dude, you close your mouth and then you take the spoon out. That's how a spoon works.
Shout out to my little brother. He's fucking annoying.
We used to get, I think we're fine with it now. I think we're at peace with it. So the other feeling that I found that's like associated with ASMR is frisson. Okay. It's a French word. It's a brief sensation reported as pleasurable and expressed as overwhelming emotional response to stimuli. So this could be this is often associated with goosebumps. Okay. But like this feeling specifically is like interrelated with ASMR. So like part of the ASMR feeling is this like frisson, frisson. And then the last part of my research is I just wanted to shout out some of like the popular ASMR artists. So if like anyone's interested in ASMR or are too afraid to just like Google it and like search through all the like the bad stuff, there's some like pretty high tier, like highly produced ASMR. So a few are Gibby ASMR, Ting Ting ASMR, Gentle Whispering ASMR, ASMR Zeitgeist, ASMR Darling, Ephemeral Rift, ASMR Requests, and Heather Feather ASMR. Cool. I found that on a list, like an article of like the top ASMR artists, but those are all ASMR artists that like, if you Google ASMR, they're probably within like the top 15 videos anyway. Yeah. And I just like did a search of like ASMR videos just like to see like what kind of views they get just for this. And like the top ones that came up have like upwards between like it was like the highest ones were like between like 60,000 and like 400 or 500,000 views. Whoa. Just on that alone. I guess it's like non-political content. Anyone can like it. It's right, not like exactly. For a specific audience. It's for everyone. Right. And like typically like ASMR artists don't like go into like their personal opinions about anything. So there's no reason for anyone to like hate them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like makeup artists or ASMR makeup artists YouTube is like so dramatic all the time because they're always like talking about their personal opinions about each other. Yeah. And then the other thing about ASMR is that a lot of it, like typically people will like listen to it for like anxiety relief or like depression relief, because it's kind of like Reiki to me in a way, like my interpretation of it, where like you kind of have like these energy readings or whatever, but like that feeling of like personal attention and like the soft sounds, and someone's usually whispering or using a low voice. Those are typically like the reasons that I want to do it. It's a really good like unwinding thing. It's something for me to like pay attention to that like is low, like those, you know, those sleep apps like where people like where famous people like read you books or something. That's ASMR. Like I feel like that's ASMR
it's like,
under a different name.
It's like doing a body scan where you're paying very like specific attention to yourself, so you don't have to think about whatever is like giving you anxiety at that moment, or even just just your anxiety in general. So like I can just listen to these sounds, or like I can watch this video and listen to these sounds, and like because you're being stimulated in that way, you're not thinking about the other shit that's like driving you nuts.
Yes, exactly. And you can find intentionally ones that are going to do like body scans with you, like now focus on your scalp, and now focus on like the way that like focus on your breathing. And other times it's like I like to watch ones where like someone's like role play, I draw you, and it's like someone's like being so nice and like, wow, you look so good right now, like just stand like that, and like they'll like ask things about you, and like that call and response in my head helps me fall asleep too. You know what I mean? Because it keeps me, the call and response keeps me active in the video and keeps my mind off of things. Because like there'll be some videos where I'm just like not paying any attention and I drift off and I go back into like anxiety brain. But the videos that are like, what's your name? How do you spell that? Like all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Kind of help me like keep in it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Another video that I've been listening to, like watching ASMR, listening to ASMR for so long that like I go through like waves of like the kind of videos I watch. But one I'm really interested in lately is like when people do like word searches.
Cool.
Because like they'll show the word search and like you can do the word search with them, and like they're whispering and just like talking like, oh, there's this one, and like they'll circle it, and like the whole thing is just so calming.
Nice.
But yeah, that's like my history. If you have any other questions.
Just something I've learned, I think, is that I think ASMR is cool. It might not be for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I have some repressed sexual things I need to deal with. And that's why I don't like it. But it is very cool. And like, I know the feeling of something similar, because oftentimes I'll get goosebumps when I'm listening to music. And like, if you could just watch something to do that, you don't have to like have someone spring a beautiful like scene or whatever on you. I feel like that's very cool. And why not do it if it's like soothing and good for your mental health?
I definitely think that like awkward sexual feeling is like not knowing what you're feeling, and that is like a similar thing when like you're younger, like middle school, and you're starting puberty and you're starting to have those like sexual feelings, and like our most relatable feeling to that is like starting to feel sexually aroused and not knowing what that means, and knowing you like it but not being able to ask about it. So I think having that that parallel might be like where that like ASMR is sexual kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a me problem.
Yeah. For my Make Me, I decided that I was going to make an ASMR video. And I decided to do something a little bit different. It's not something so different that hasn't been seen before. I've actually seen people do this, but I kind of wanted to stay away from like the role play thing for my first like ASMR video. So I decided, I don't know if you noticed, Julia, on the Instagram, I asked people what video game they like more, Skyrim or Animal Crossing. I love you all. Thank you for voting for Animal Crossing. I was kind of hoping that everyone say Skyrim because I've been on a Skyrim kick lately.
Why'd you even ask?
Because I wanted people to interact. And I want people like I also didn't want to like play Skyrim. People were like, okay, I don't give a shit about Skyrim.
Yeah.
But like everyone's playing Animal Crossing right now, so I figured I'd give people like a choice. Yeah. So I made an ASMR video where I gave a tour of my Animal Crossing island.
So fun.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jordan, and I'm going to be making an ASMR video today. Today, I decided that I would play some Animal Crossing. I did a poll on Instagram, and I asked if you wanted me to play Skyrim or Animal Crossing, and you guys all decided that I should play Animal Crossing, and all I'm going to say is, your loss. So this is Isabel. She has any news today. I really like Animal Crossing, and it was a really good thing to have once we got into quarantine. it was like a good way to like keep busy and like have a routine from like at home.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Thank you.
I highly recommend you go watch it. Even if you don't get like the ASMR tinglies, which I think you will. I think you did a great job.
Thank
and
you.
I was getting a little tingly. I was getting it.
It helps with the headphones, you know?
Yeah, it does. But also Jordan's Island is very nice. And also it's just very soothing. Like I felt like I could watch that for hours. Like I forgot we were watching it together and didn't really say anything because I was like fascinated with what was going on.
Thank you. I do take pride in my island. It's very fun. I really like Animal Crossing. I'm excited for people to see it. If you want to play Animal Crossing with me, message us on the DMs.
Yeah.
Here's my notes with the Make Me. I give major props to like YouTubers and especially like ASMR artists, ASMRtists.
ASMRtists.
I think that's how they identify, or like that's how they like to call themselves.
I like that.
It was hard, and especially with like I like people stream and stuff like that from their Twitch, and I just assumed that it was like a functionality that was like built in, and it's not. So I had to have a camera. I actually had to film this twice because I had a camera, and I used my phone at first to like record my computer screen when I was playing the game on, and then I had to like record myself, so I used my computer.
Yeah.
But then I could, due to technological difficulties that I'm not going to get into, I couldn't get my phone. I couldn't get the video on my phone onto my computer.
What?
So I had to start all the way over and use like my DSLR camera to like film the screen. And I was like, this is like low quality, but it's what I think it did the job, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
And I also had fun, but I also didn't, once, if you watch it, you'll realize that I stopped whispering halfway through because like, it hurts your voice to whisper for that long.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like all this ASMR stuff is taxing on the body.
Yeah. I also, the original one, I tried to get like some controller sounds, because a lot of like gamer ASMRs will like get the controller sound, but the second time around when I did it, I forgot to get that. Dang. And then the other thing that didn't work out was, a lot of things didn't work out, but another thing of note was I tried to do some eating before I played. I ate some tortilla chips, but I couldn't get this. I didn't pick up the sound on the mic.
Weird.
I think I needed to chew with my mouth open, but I was like chewing right by the mic and I didn't pick anything up.
Weird. But yeah, I feel like it's a whole production. Like I kind of learned this with the makeup tutorial Make Me, but it seems like you're just talking to a camera and it should be really straightforward, but it's like the good YouTubers that do this kind of stuff, like ASMR, makeup videos, any tutorials, it's like a whole production.
Yeah, and those, if you check out those ASMRtists that I like read off, you watch their stuff and it's like high quality. They have like the best mics. They have great lighting. They do like set design or like they'll just get like really nice like computer generated backgrounds, but like it seems really seamless. Yeah. So honestly, props to them, because especially for something that like probably starts out as a hobby and then for them to like, you know, elevate to that level is wild. So yeah, major props. And also huge props. With the amount of technological difficulties I had in the past like 3 days, anyone who produces video like regularly, like quickly, major props.
Oh yeah,
good work, everybody.
And also great job having computer storage to accommodate this.
Oh my God. Yeah. How do you do it? I mean, it's really just getting an external hard drive that I'm just like, what's my problem?
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So out of 10 easy toes, how do you rate this?
Out of 10 Diaperitos.
No.
I think that before I would give it like an 8 because I was really excited and I love doing it. And I'm going to give it a full 10. Like I redeemed myself from last week's Make Me because I feel like I totally like flopped and donked on that.
I don't think you donked.
This one, I feel like I know even more about it and I have more respect for it. And I got to like, rather than just like my own personal experience, I got to like see how everyone else was perceiving it and maybe like a little bit of why I was feeling the way I was feeling and like words to the way I was feeling.
Yeah.
Because my ASMR experience has always been like really personal because like, it's not something that like, you know, your immediate reaction was kind of like, this might be creepy and I don't know. So it's hard for me to want to explore that kind of thing.
Right.
And I just, as a 16, 17-year-old was like, I'm going to dive deeper into it, you know?
Yeah.
So to be able to like, even like talk about it is like fun. And like, it's not, the weird thing is it's like not something controversial, you know what I mean? But it's something that's like people are having trouble like talking about just because they don't understand it.
And it's very personal, like what your likes and dislikes are.
I also think that like, I can't think of like one reason to make fun of, like the only thing you could say was like, oh, it made me feel weird, but like it's not like furries where you can be like, haha, that looks different than me, and like that makes me mad. There's nothing really to like be mad about. Yeah,
I can't be mad at it, but I can be like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
but it's not like I can persecute you for it. Not that I would. And now that I've heard how well you did, this makes me happy to say, but I gave you this make me because I was worried you were going to give it to me and I didn't want to do it.
That's amazing.
So not only did I skate away from that, but you did something that I didn't even know you enjoyed and followed. So win-win for me.
I didn't want to admit that I already done it. But it's not the podcast where we make each other do things we've never done before. It's the thing that you didn't want to do yourself.
And this is truly something I did not want to do at all. Like I was worried that last week you were going to give it to me. And then, so I made sure that I went first.
I'm not going to lie to you. It was on my list. So
I knew it.
But fair game because it's still on my list.
Yeah, but
maybe for future episodes.
Not for any time soon. Hopefully.
Not for a while. We don't need to repeat this early.
And I'll do some soul searching before then to why I don't like it. All right. So I have an announcement to make. This week we're not giving each other make me's.
No, we're not.
Because next week is our 10th episode.
Extravaganza.
And so for that, we're breaking our format and we're going to talk about the origins of the podcast and like I'll say like our superhero origin story.
Yeah. I mean, to celebrate officially being bingeable, I think that it's time that we admit that, you know, we had an episode that we might have gotten rid of because it wasn't to like the best of our liking. And we also realized that we tried to do a podcast about making a podcast, having never made a podcast before.
Yes. So all you super fans out there that listened to the first episode that is now considered the lost episode in the canon, I'm not going to suggest you sit this one out, but you might be hearing things that you've heard before. And that's okay. You can take a break if you want.
Yeah, but you should listen because it'll be higher quality and probably more entertaining for everyone. We are purposefully pulling back the curtain and letting you into the world of what it's like to produce a podcast. I also want to say that I'm very excited that you said that we have podcast canon. Episode 10, we officially have podcast canon.
We're bingeable and we have canon.
Yeah.
Do you have a make me for the listeners?
Oh, I do have make me for the listeners. I wouldn't want the listeners to pay for my electricity bill.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's it?
I was kidding. Cool. It's really hot. And I'm just I'm living with like my little AC unit on all the time. And I don't want to pay for that.
Why would you?
I'm already like, exactly. I think everyone else should.
And, you know, I'll be so generous to those of you who haven't donated to my roller skate fund. Go ahead and donate to Jordan's air conditioner fund instead, because that's more pressing for existence.
You can't even roller skate when it's too hot outside anyway.
Right. But again, if you're a super fan, you can do both. We'll gladly take your money.
Yeah, exactly. DM and then buy merch when we make it.
And DM us for our Venmo names.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it.
Yeah, we did it.
We'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, it's Jordan and Julia. Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
For content related to this episode, follow us at MakeMePod on Instagram. And you can hear episodes each week on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you find us anywhere else, please let us know.
You can also send us your questions, comments, make me suggestions, pictures of your dog, or requests for unlicensed medical advice to makemepod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, etc., etc. That's how we get discovered.
Please, we need to be clicked.
But for real, leave a comment so we know you love us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.